So thanks for watching this short presentation to launch the new network guidance for promoting natural sleep in the intensive care unit. The practice educators will be circulating paper copies as well, but we hope to give you an introduction here. It used to be fairly straightforward to tell if someone was asleep. They're mostly still, their eyes were shut, and they had a slowed respiratory rate and a slight drop in core temperature. With the advent of EEG though, it became a little bit more complex. It isn't perfectly clear what the function of sleep is, but there's a great deal of evidence that it's a very specific mental state that's crucial for health and recovery. So looking at EEG, it's broadly divided into 4 phases. There are 3 phases of non-REM sleep, with each increasingly slow wave activity, and then 1 phase of REM, or rapid eye movement sleep, where the EEG is similar to an awake trace, but the body is temporarily paralysed except for the muscles of the eye. So a normal sleep pattern cycling through increasingly deep non-REM stages 1 to 3, and then a period of REM sleep. The full cycle takes about 90 minutes and should be repeated 4 to 5 times a night. As the night progresses, we tend to spend more and more time in the N3 or slow wave sleep and REM sleep itself. So this deep non-REM sleep and the REM sleep is partly responsible for the positive restorative effects of functional sleep. It's clear that our ICU patients appear to sleep as much as healthy people, but the problem is their sleep's very fragmented. They don't get a chance either because of the drugs we give them, because of the care we give them, or because of the environment that they're in. So they struggle to enter N3 and REM sleep. And we think this is one of the many factors that predispose up to 80% of our patients to experience delirium. It's also very important to note that when we wake our patients from sedation, they have slept, but this has been because they've been sedated. So we've largely restricted them to stages N1 and N2 and not been able to reach states of beneficial restorative sleep. And that's to say, as soon as they wake up, we need to concentrate on getting their circadian rhythm back to normal and promoting a good full nighttime sleep. So how do we do this? Well, to improve the length and quality of sleep for our ICU patients, we've devised a sleep protocol which takes into account both the non-pharmacological and pharmacological interventions. We ourselves at home would struggle to sleep in our bedroom if the lights were left on and there were car alarms going off outside, and I'm sure the majority of us would rather sleep in a cool, dark, quiet bedroom with little external interference and would look to change our environment to ensure that this happens. Likewise, in order for our patients to get the best sleep, we need to modulate and manage the environment to make it more conducive to the initiation and specifically the maintenance of a healthy sleep cycle, and then also to ensure it has as few interruptions as possible. So there's non-pharmacological interventions which involve 3 facets: noise, light, and interventions relating to patient care. Noise can be addressed in 2 ways. Firstly, from the amount that's generated, for example by opening doors silently, being careful pulling aprons from dispensers, to reducing the volume on the pump alarms and keeping nighttime discussions at the bedside as quiet as possible. Secondly, we can then also reduce the amount of noise that reaches our patients by routinely offering them earplugs where appropriate. And light is addressed by maximising the patient exposure during the daytime and then reducing it from 10 PM onwards. Patients can also be offered an eye mask where it's tolerated. Patient care aspects involve grouping patient interventions wherever possible. For example, if a patient awakens and needs suctioning, then this time can also be used to take an ABG, give meds, or change an infusion, essentially to avoid disturbances later on and cluster the care together. Other patient care aspects involve frequent orientation with respect to time and place, ensuring early mobilisation of physiotherapy, and getting our patients active in the daytime if possible, and outside of the unit into natural UV light and sunlight during the day. So when it comes to pharmacological intervention, the protocol that we've devised is not intended to be a guide to sedation, but is instead meant to highlight the impact of various agents on the generation of restorative deep non-REM and REM sleep. Melatonin is secreted by the pineal gland in a daily cycle and promotes a natural circadian rhythm. Its secretion is reduced with exposure to light, so replacing it in the night promotes sleep by mimicking the natural rise of melatonin in the evening time. It's safe, it's well tolerated, has very few side effects, and in studies has been associated with a decreased ICU stay and rates of delirium. We can give melatonin 2 to 5 milligrams between 9 and 10 o'clock in the evening. Another promising new agent for sedation in the ITU is dexmedetomidine, which is similar in some ways to clonidine. However, unlike all the other classes of sedatives, it seems to produce EEG readings similar to that of normal non-REM sleep. Most importantly, dexmedetomidine doesn't appear to exhibit any adverse effects on slow-wave sleep or REM sleep compared to controls. So we aim to infuse a low rate of dexmedetomidine overnight to achieve a RASS of -1 to -2, and it's been shown to reduce sleep fragmentation and restore a circadian rhythm in ICU patients. And it also has a strong association with a greater proportion of patients being delirium-free during their ITU stay. A common method used to treat a lack of sleep is to prescribe hypnotic medications such as zopiclone, lorazepam, zolpidem. And unfortunately, this group of drugs are strongly associated with development of delirium. Whilst they increase the sleeping time, it's poor quality sleep with a lack of REM sleep. And in using these agents, we're sedating the patient rather than encouraging natural sleep. There are many other medications that can interfere with sleep in the ITU, such as opioids, cardiovascular medication, respiratory medication, corticosteroids, SSRI antidepressants. So if patient's CAM-ICU positive or reports a poor night of sleep, then this should prompt a medication review within 24 hours. If properly implemented, the combination of these interventions should improve your patient's sleep, which will have a positive impact on their experience and outcomes whilst in the ICU. So, if this presentation has interested you and you'd like more information, then a good place to start is Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. He's a Harvard neuroscientist who is a world expert in all aspects of sleep medicine. It's very readable, and you might have a positive impact on your own sleep as well as that of your patients. So can I say thanks for listening and sleep well.